Hello everyone and welcome to Homestead Rewind. Today I'm going to show you step 2 of the pallet wood wall build. If any of you have had any experience in dealing with pallets, you already know what I have found out. When we first picked up the pallets and got them home, I thought, how in the world am I ever going to make anything look good out of these things? They were stained, they were cracked, they were warped, they were bowed, and very few pallets match each other. This is the step where I do the initial sorting for Jay, so that when he goes out, he's got a stack that's pretty close together, if not exact together. And then he can go through them and figure out how he's going to piece them together inside the cottage kitchen. Once we decided that we thought we were going to do the pallet board reclaiming of the pallet wood, we got online and went to some YouTube videos just to see how other people were doing it. And there were several really cool ideas. One of them was to actually take a torch and burn this so that the wood grain comes out, and burn the inside so that where there are cracks between them, it wasn't quite so noticeable. And I really thought I wanted to do that idea, but as I thought about it some more, I realized that probably is going to leave a smoky smell, and I really didn't want my kitchen to smell like a chimney. So my next thought was, all right, well, I'll just sand them all down and I'll whitewash them, or I'll paint them. And that still could happen, but probably not. The way this wall is looking as it comes out, I really love the colors. And I think that it's going to be light enough because of the two windows. They get full sun all day long, and it makes it really, really bright inside the cottage kitchen. I wanted to show you how well the Sawzall does. It just actually cuts the nails off flush with the board. So really, sanding is not too much of a problem. Every once in a while I'll have to get a hammer out and smash the nail ends down, but not very often. Almost all of them go flush with the board, and it doesn't bother my sandpaper at all. We are leaving the nail nubs in there, and it looks cool. Sometimes he cuts them off depending on how they look, but we really like the look of it because all the nails are rusty, and it just gives it that old barn type feeling in there. Another thing about sanding down the boards is we're trying a lot of these boards, and I probably can't tell, but they're warped this way. They're like cupped, and when they go up on the wall, it causes the edges to stick out more pronounced than normal. So we always try to find the side that is warped going out. That way when it goes on the wall, it's actually kind of hiding the cracks between the two boards. So this little gadget my son had given to him from a friend, it's called a mouse sander. That's what it says on the site here. I had never used one of these before. When we were redoing the farmhouse over a decade ago, we had a sander, and it was just such a pain to get that sanding paper on there and off. I wanted to show you, this is Velcro. It's just Velcroed it, and I don't know how long these guys have been around. I haven't had much need for a sander for quite some time now, but now that I have it, I may be using a sander a lot more often. I'm sure that this probably isn't very expensive. I think though that Walmart has quit carrying Black & Decker, because when we went in the Supercenter to find the pads, it's some other name brand that they've replaced it with, but they do have these little sanders like this, and the pads for those sanders fit the mouse sander as well. And I got 10 of these 80 grit, I'm using 80 grit sandpaper. I got 10 of these for like $6, and one of these will do around 50 of these boards before I have to change it out. So I'm not sure if the lighting is good enough or not, but I'm going to sand one of these down and show you how much of a difference it makes when you sand them. don't know if it's the way the board was cut, the saw marks, or if it's because the pallets have just been shifted around on floors, but they had, some of them have these grooves inside there. When I first started sanding them, I'm like, oh man, that's gonna look terrible. But actually, it really does give the wall a lot of really good character. Anytime you have a knot, and this one has like a wood grain texture, but anytime you have a knot in there, it just really, it brings it home and makes it feel like an old farmhouse inside there. I cannot wait to show you guys what that wall looks like, and I promise the next video will be showing you exactly the last process that we have to go through before we actually nail it to the wall, and you get to see the wall then. So you can see the difference, I hope, with the camera and this light. I'm having to be under here because the wind's blowing and I'm trying to protect you guys from getting a big dose of wind. But where they have these black marks or whatnot on them, that sands right off, and it just makes it a real pretty smooth finish. Jay will probably have to hammer these nails in a little more, but if I decide I want to paint it later on, I don't think it's going to be too difficult. But like I said, I really don't see that happening. I love the way this is looking. It's really interesting to see these go up on the wall because each one has its own interesting little characteristics. Okay, now to put them in the sort pile. Okay, you might hear that wind a little bit worse back here because I am out in the front of the nature area. But you can see I have, and this is a representation of how many different sizes that you get off of one of these pallets. And it really seems a lot harder than it is, but what Jay has figured is if he can get 5 boards that are the same width, meaning this way, then our longest wall, he can do 1 row with 5 of these boards. Now, most of the pallet boards are this length, but you can see there are some that are shorter and some that are longer. But he's been doing pretty good at matching it up inside there. They can be really tricky too because these look at first like they're the same width, but when you get them together, you realize this one's just a hair wider, and it can't go with these because that would leave too much of a gap. Too short. Nope. That's pretty close. We'll put it in that pile. Maybe he can make that work. Guys, what do you think of my deck? This is a free deck except for the screws. I think he bought a box of screws for $50. But other than that, it cost us $0 to build. He found a crate out at work and they tore it apart. He had the help of his buddies for that and brought it home. We have lots and lots of wood just like this. You'll see it's divided, it's chopped into several different layers, and that's because every time he would come out, the ground would get farther away, so he'd have to build another layer down. It actually turned out really cool, and it's real easy walking on these old knees of ours. The one thing about it though is, this is not treated wood, and it's either going to have to be painted or stained. Well guys, I'm pretty excited about the progress that we were making on the kitchen cottage. You will notice that I changed it from outdoor kitchen to kitchen cottage because I had somebody not so nicely tell me that an outdoor kitchen was not an enclosed area. Excuse me. I like the name cottage kitchen a lot better anyway. If you are enjoying my videos, please share them. That really does help get my algorithm up. Be sure on your way out to push the like button. That helps too. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We have a lot of projects coming up. We're just getting started here at building our homestead. We are going to have the ability to live should the power go out, where we have no water. We're putting systems in place that we can have that capability. However, me and Jay are not spring chickens, and we are also looking to our future as we build our homestead. There's not always going to be a time whenever I can wrestle around with pallets and sawzalls. But nonetheless, I want the capability, should we get in a situation where the grid goes down, we're going to be able to maintain, and I'll be able to cook. We'll be able to have lights so that we can see. I have several different solar lights that I've set up around the place, and I absolutely love the solar lights. But if you're liking what you see, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. November's coming up, and that's my 6-month mark. For those of you that watch know that I try to increase my subscribers by 100 people every 6 months. So far, since I started the YouTube channel, I've been able to do that. Today, I'm at 281. Well, it's fluctuating back and forth, 279 to 281. I don't really know what goes on with that, but will say that I'm 20 people away from subscribing. So if you know anybody that would enjoy my channel, give them a call or a text message, or send them my video and ask them to subscribe. Okay, well, I think I'm going to wrap this up for now. The wind is really picking up. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you for all the comments on that last video. I love getting comments. That way I know that I'm reaching out and touching people, which is the whole purpose of my YouTube channel in the first place, is just to give people inspiration. And with that, I will say goodbye. Love and peace to everyone.